I'm Dear Myrtle, your friend in genealogy, but you know that this channel's all about creating journals to tell one ancestral story, one episode, or document one heirloom at a time. So I thought that I would do a different sort of a series while it may be that many of you are just starting out. So I found this Stamperia Garden scrapbooking kit. It was a whole 12 by 12 pad, and I have used a few things from it to make some journaling cards, etc. But I want to show you how I would approach this. First of all, keep in mind that the cover as well as the bottom spine are useful. And for instance, I could cut this and make this a piece of ephemera. I don't need the advertising. This would be a shorter one. It's all doable. And look what's on the back. It's pretty nice stuff. Okay. But the reason I picked this one is because of these 4 cards. You clearly don't want to cut these up other than cutting out individual cards because there's perfect journaling card space on the back. All right, so I'm going to bring up my other cutter. We're going to go from there. I don't want to use my great big heavy one because we may be having to go back and forth, and I want to do this on camera. Okay, it definitely helps in the world of paper crafting to have a good cutter. The first one I got was this one. I think it's from We Are Memory Keepers. I could be wrong. Might be, yeah, it is. We Are, and it's called their Trims and Scoreboard. So you can trim and do the scoring that we sometimes need to do, all on one little device. Now I have to orient myself because I haven't used it for a while. Okay, here's where it's planning to cut. Same thing toward the bottom. They don't really need to worry as long as this cardstock is up against this top edge. All right, let's see what happens when I do this. All right. Now we have 2, but we need to cut these down again. So much of what we do might be less accurate than this. We might be able to tear ephemera to give it some interest. But when it comes to the foundation pieces like we're making right now, we would like to have them be as right on as possible. Okay. All right, now let's see if there's any rhyme nor reason. Or reason. I didn't mean to say nor. All right, that's down there clinking around by my wheelchair. Okay, there is an autumn, spring, summer, and winter. So there is some logical positioning for this. Now, I would like to also cut this 12 by 12, this 12 by 12, which has an interesting background, into 4 pieces so that our journal can have 8 elements, 8 basic foundation pages, not just these 4. And actually, it's times 2 because they're front and back embellished. Okay. All right, let's pull this baby back up again. And we will move this to 6 inches, which really helps when there's no guideline on the paper for cutting. Now, some paper crafting companies have about a 1/2 inch border here that you got to take into account and cut off. So it's actually larger than 12 by 12 because of that border. Okay, so here's this. You need to take it to 6 inches and then we can trim it. Okay, and we'll take this one to 6 inches and cut her in 2 right there. Okay, now you can buy replacement cutters or that little element right there that has the sharp cutter on it. All right, now I don't know that there's any particular sense of what goes where. Let's see, we may find it as we put every other one, insert it between our autumn and winter, etc. Okay. All right, so now I have my base pages, and they're all pretty much the same size. Now, this one is going to be slightly different. Let's see how we shall do this. Okay, I don't have any. I'm just thinking outside the box because the idea I had has changed somewhat. What I'm planning to do is put two of these together and put a little fabric in between. All right. And then add the next page, and then add the next page, etc. And I'm not sure how this is going to work out. It can't be that bad. With cute paper like this from Stamperia, how could we go wrong? All right. So we got a lot of possibilities here. Some people take wider lace and put between. And this is a new pack I got with sample laces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, and I think it cost me about $6 or $7 from Amazon. Now, certainly I could do that, but I'm not a big lace person per se. I hear you. This one's logical because, as you see, half could go on one page and half could go on the next page. It's a possibility. All right. Another thing you could do is take felt, and I have felt from just from Hobby Lobby when it's on sale. I've learned to only buy things on sale. That's a likely color. I had thought this would be a color that would go with it. Nothing there that totally wins my affections. I went into my, oh golly, a lot of threads there. I went into my quilting room. It's really sewing and quilting, thinking that I might use this. Let's see how this fabric looks with the other pages. That's pretty nice, although this is more green than that. But if we were to use something green, these are all leftovers from other projects that I'm showing you. Ooh, that's pretty. Heather would love it because it has gold in it. Wow. All right, I'm not sure how much green we have in all. We actually have a lot. A lot. So this one is a very likely candidate. This one as well. I'm putting these back. I think this is too dark. Oh, but it's pretty with it. But would it be distracting? These are the choices that you need to make. These are the decisions to make. I kind of like that. I'm going cuckoo, aren't I? That's the word of late. Okay, that's a possibility. This is too dark. Okay, we'd only be using a little teeny bit of this on the edge. I don't care for that. Intriguing, but not my cup of tea. Oh, great, more possibilities. How did I miss this turquoisey? Oh man, I can't decide. I just know I don't need the dark green. Now, I had thought that I would need to get some of my white pre-cut but that was because I thought what I've previously used would be too dark or too creamy. Now this is easy to use because I only have to cut down the middle. I've found by default that I don't want to tear it because this is the result. It's not straight enough for my, I don't mind the curves, but it's just way off. It goes down to practically nothing. So tearing is not an option, although I do tear in my quilting. Dare I just use the cream? Or should I go whole hog? Oh, do I have enough of this? Yeah, I've got plenty. Oh, that's so pretty. But let's see what it looks like with some of the other months. All right, let me lay this down. So you could use seam binding. You could use, I think it's too overwhelming. I think I'm going to use the cream that I already have. Or maybe I'm just eliminating this one. All right. Is this as overwhelming? Doesn't quite have the colors in some of the other pages, does it? All right, let's eliminate that one. I just love fabric. That's all there is to it. Okay, that one would work. I'm getting close. This one wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't be great, but it wouldn't be bad. Oh dear. I almost think this is the better choice between these two. Oh, this is exactly what I go through. I don't know this from the top because we have the paper kit. We haven't been taught, and it's totally up to you as to how you might use it. Because I want to do this fabric, see that this goes very well. Because I want to do this fabric binding, it's very good. Okay, and there's some of this in here. Oh my gosh. Okay, I've eliminated this. Okay, now it's down to these two. Oh, see how much we have. Yeah. Could do every other one a different color. I have a completely different idea. And I'm so glad I just thought of this. Let's see if we like this the best. Okay, I have made a decision. Let me cut this. Oh, I want that side, don't I? Yeah, I gotta go with the plan. I never iron. I don't have to iron. I do when I quilt, but not here. I take up a new hobby where you have to iron all the time. I'm going to use this creamy color because it doesn't fight anything. And so we will do that. Let's find an easy one to pull out of the middle here. Okay. There we go. And the white can go away. All right, now I can use a variety of glues for this. I think I will use my pH neutral PVA quality archival adhesive, dries clear but remains flexible. We need that. Okay, first of all, this is too thick for one page. So I'm going to cut right down the middle with my good, very straight. Well, we need the big version of the Tim Holtz. And that's all we're going to do today is make the decision and execute the decision for how we are going to attach these pages. Ooh, it does have pinking shear edges. That's cool. I do have pinking shears in the other room. But that's okay. We're going with this. Now, there. It's really wacko for me to have to actually cut fabric. Okay, so I'm basically, I think I'll put this curly side out. Let me move in a little bit. See, I've got two sides, the side I cut and this ruffly kind of edge. Not ruffly, but it is pinked. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to apply some glue, some of my PVA glue. Dang it all. I love life. It was working before I started. All right, that ought to open up the floodgates here. Okay, one little bead of glue. We want it to dry clear in case it goes anywhere, like off the page or through the fabric, etc. Okay, that is page 1. I'm going to cut it a little big because I can always cut it again later. Okay, so now we are ready to take the second page and glue it. And this time I'm going to put the glue here down the edge. Of the fabric. Okay. Now I'm leaving a little space between them because I've got to get this straight, and that's hard for me to do when I'm seated. I don't want to stand for this whole thing. This is going to have a pocket on it. It needs to have something on it. You can't write on it, but I'm going to put a pocket with a journaling card. Okay. There that is. Okay. And that could be a journal in and of itself. A little more embellishment on the cover. I just want to keep it really simple. Okay, so the next one we want to put in is summer, but do you notice we are going to attach this. If we were to attach it on this side, we'd end up with a zigzag kind of a journal, which is perfectly fine. You could so totally do that, and then you'd end up with very wide journal. Or I can attach the next piece halfway on this page and halfway on that page. And I think I'll try it this way. So we'll put glue on this side of our fabric. Okay, dokie. Now, in order to, there we go. In order to see how far apart I put these, I'm flipping them because I do not want these to be too far or too close together. Should I decide, let's see, where are we going? Yeah, that's fine. We are now adding a little glue here. And just putting it a little ways apart. Now, let's be sure before the glue dries that I have it in the right position. There's summer, there's spring, and our blank page, and then our next page. Okay, we're good. We're good on that because we can read summer perfectly. All right, let me zoom out. Okay, we're going to cut that. I'm going to cut it really long, just for the heck of it. Okay, now I'm lining these pages up. It looks like I'm going to have to use a clamp of some sort. Gosh, I have really big clamps. Let's see if I have any little ones right here. Oh, there's that other lid. Okay, I do not know where the little clamps are, so we'll use the big ones. In Mr. Myrt's woodworking shop, he says half the battle is using the correct clamps. Okay, now that was the back. This is the back side of summer. So I am ready to put this blank one in between. I'm going to put a bead of glue along here. Having folded everything else we've done and clamped them. All right. Well, let's see. Let's just measure. We don't want the selvage to show. I'm going to cut that part off. The selvage is the edge. It has a little fringe. You might like that in some cases, but I don't. And you can see where this fabric has been held on during the fabric weaving process. Okay, let's do this. I had to pick one with a lot of pages, didn't I? Okay, other than the main cover, I don't care which way the pinked or cutesy side goes. Now, one advantage of having clamped these is I can see about how far into this I should be placing the fabric so that it matches what other pages look like. Okay. Alrighty, so we're going to put this here. And I'm putting a little glue bead along here. To me, the fact that this PVA glue remains flexible is pretty important. All right, let's see if I have this in the right spot. Could have done it underneath, and I think I should. Let's flip it, which means we're going to put the glue here. Otherwise, I would have had it inconsistent with the others. Because I want to have fabric on both this side and that side of the spine. Okay, upside down this time. All right. So that's something to tell you about that I haven't. And I'm using my grid. Whoa. The grid to try to get that on there straight. That's not bad, but I think it's too far apart. Well, I'm really having fun on this one, aren't I? All right, let's get the grid and get it lined up. Okay, see if that's close enough. That's better. Okay, so now we're going to take and move our clamp. Get these lined up. This is essential. Okay, and we're ready for our next bit of fabric. I'm going to make this one really long because I'm probably going to put a bead or something there. All right, we're just experimenting. This is doable. All right. And now we would be folding this over for the next one. That's a way to do it. Let's see if this is actually reasonable. I don't know. I will try it. I gotta hold it though. Just looking at all kinds of possibilities. Well, yeah, because it needs to be that we can line this up. This may be an easier way to line it up than using the grid if I can keep that in one position without it sticking on the previous page. Ooh, let's check and be sure the others aren't sticking together. No, that's not sticking. Good, that's not sticking. It still hasn't dried clear yet. And this one is not sticking. And this one, we did not put the fabric on both sides here. I'm going to remedy that shortly. Alrighty, so I'm going to put the glue down. And go from there. Okay, this is autumn, so we need to have it facing that way, right? Man, it's hard to hold that in place. There's got to be an easier way to do this, but it's not that impossible. Okay, see, that's good. And there's still that little space between. All right, let's go back and put in our missing link here. Oh dear. So doing journals can be quite, oh, there's a selvage I didn't cut off. Doing journals, making the journal is fun, but when I'm not explaining what I'm doing, I'm thinking about why I'm making that journal. For instance, the next journal I'm planning to make is going to be using the interior of this book. I still have to finish taking off these several pages, perhaps, and dealing with the spine. The reason I want to use this book is that it's about the size of my identification card for when I was an employee of the Census Department in 1990. And so during the crafting of this, I'm probably going to remember some anecdotes or some of the challenges that we encountered as field operations supervisors, crew leader, training the enumerators, etc. And so the actual making of the journal informs some of the content. Man, let's start here. This is pretty crooked. It's a memory jogger, gives me time to focus on that particular item. Okay. All right, so this time we're going to put glue on both sides, I think. I think we can manage that. Because we want to strengthen this right here. So this is one of several ways in that book that I showed the other day on how to make a journal from scratch. Okay, great. Let's see how this is working. All right, starting to dry there a little bit, not quite, but it's getting there. Okay, so we remedied that. Now we're going to clamp these together. We only have 3 more pages to go. Okay, this turned out pretty well because of similar decorations. Let's put our glue here. I lately have been using this PVA glue, which is actually kind of expensive, as opposed to fabric tack. because it doesn't bubble up and come out of the top while I've set it down to do the next placement. And I mean, I've ended up with like a volcano of fabric tap coming out of my coming out of the top. I love this glue, but some days are like that. Okay, so now this needs to go here. I'm not entirely sure, but let's give it a good old college try. See if I really like doing it this way, where I've already folded it over, apply the glue. It's tricky. I don't know. You probably have a better way to do it. Probably yelling through the screen saying, Myrt, try this. And as well I should. How can we do this so I can be sure that I'm getting it straight? Unlike the other glue that I use, art glitter glue, you've got time to rearrange things slightly as needed with this PVA glue and also with fabric tack. All right, let me line this up with everything but the clamp. All right. Okay, that worked, sort of, I think. Let's look at it. Be sure they're far enough apart. It's a little close, but it's, oh no, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Okay. In a way, I kind of wish I'd used a color instead of this white for the binding, but you know, that was then, this is now, and this is the reality we're dealing with. Okay. Gotta clamp them. That really does help, having a clamp. And try it over here. Bead of glue. Placement. And a little bit of pressure. Okay. Now we're folding it, but I'm not sure folding's going to work with this one. I think I put it too far this way, so I'm slightly moving it that way. I think it's part of how I cut the strip down the middle, that I may have been less generous on this particular one. Okay. Put our bead of glue. Add winter. I did it this way before. Gosh, if I clamped here, it would probably be easier. Clamped on each side. Oh, just do it, Myrt. You can do it. I'm lining it up here in this lower corner, I'm noticing. All right, let's check it because we can still move it. It's good. Need a little glue right here. Didn't go far enough down on the. And what about here? Okay, there we go. Okie dokie. Okay, well, gosh, these pages are just beautiful. Let's try that. All right. Okay, press. I don't iron, I press. Okay. All right. Fold over. slightly. It would help if I had more clamps. They're in the other room, naturally. Okay, this is the last page. Okay. Oh, I can tell I'm getting glue all over my finger. Okay, it's the last page, but we need to put some binding here. And I'm thinking that I need, possibly, I can always decide, to put some here and wrap it around. I'll have to think about that. All right, so this is what we end up with. Let's do our flip through. This was a major project and took a little bit of thinking because I haven't done it before. But I wanted to show you how to use these 4 spring, summer, winter, fall um, uh, cards from Stamperia into a journal itself, where we will also be making tuck spots, etc., on these odd pages. They're not odd, they're collage pages. Okay, here's summer. Let's be sure we got everything in there correctly. Place to journal, place to put a tuck spot, and some journaling cards and tags, and also on the back. There's a little flexibility each way, but we're good. Here's autumn. Good. This is the correct orientation for these birdhouses. We wouldn't want them upside down. Okay, interesting. Here's winter. And the word garden works out. We did it. All right. So the only thing we have to decide later is if on the very back page, if we would like to put a strip of this and possibly wrap it around. So let me try to make that decision now. I don't want to make that decision now. I want to see how fat this gets because I might need to take a full width, not a half width. It's hard to say that without saying a derogatory term, to accomplish a binding that goes over this edge of the spine. All right. Nothing left to say, but I'm Dear Myrtle, your friend in genealogy. Happy family tree climbing, everybody, and journaling. That's a wrap.